Republicans are at risk of losing complete control of the state legislature for the first time in more than a decade. For years, we've seen policies at the state level reflecting that conservatism. But all that could change under these new competitive maps. Our political reporter, Will Keneally, has more.
Oh my gosh, this is like a whole new world,
How big of a deal, like how earth-shaking was Monday in Wisconsin politics?
And it is absolutely a new day in Wisconsin. The possibilities, I think, for us as a state, for voters to be able to elect a much more balanced state legislature has not been this way since 2009.
Wisconsin could see a major policy shift after this fall, depending on how many gains in the state legislature Democrats can make under the new maps. For many Democrats, electing Governor Evers to statewide office represented a check on Republican power. He could veto restrictions to things like reproductive health care and voting access.
If you've voted in a governor's race in the last few years, you probably saw the importance of expanding Medicaid and protecting people with pre-existing conditions.
With a Democratic-controlled state legislature, some of those policies, those reasons Democrats elected Governor Evers, could be on the table to become state laws.
If Democrats win in the state legislature, these ideas will turn into bills that get passed, signed by the governor, and become a reality.
We sat down with Chair Ben Wickler at the state Democratic Party headquarters in Madison. He identified a list of policies that could be priorities for Democrats if they win back parts of the legislature. Issues like legalizing marijuana, restoring union rights, gun safety legislation, and climate protection, those could all be on the table for Democrats.
All of these things that most voters want, that Republicans have refused to act on.
Now, for Democrats to pull off those wins, it's not the same as winning statewide, like in a governor's race. Geography matters here.
In the Assembly, all of the districts are up this year. It's a very competitive chamber now with the new maps. If Democrats run strong at the top of the ticket, they have a real chance at winning a majority there this year. State Senate is different because only half of the districts are up this year.
UW-Madison political scientist Barry Burden says this is not likely an overnight change.
So I think at best, Democrats will have to wait 2 election cycles, go through 2024 and 2026 in order to pick up the state Senate. Of course, by that time, there'll be another governor's race to be had.
And who running where makes a difference as well. We asked Wickler if there are specific areas of the state that they are looking to target.
As the candidates make announcements, we'll be able to spotlight more and more places. But I think there are real opportunities in many different parts of our state.
Take a look at this district around Lodi, for example. It's currently held by a Republican. Under the new maps, this district shifted towards Madison and now favors Democrats by roughly 18 points.
You know, the whole state is going to be up for grabs. I think things have really changed.
An analysis by News 3 Now shows 15 seats currently held by Republicans are vulnerable. They now lean Democratic. That's compared to 1 vulnerable Democratic seat.
In urban areas where Democrats are dominant, they will have more districts now where they have a chance to win. In some small cities where I think Democratic areas had been broken up by previous lines, those are now put back together in some places.
Burden says this will be a lot of work for the state parties to find good candidates to run in these competitive districts.
Yeah, I think the money is likely to increase. The fact that the legislature will be up for grabs in terms of party control means that both sides will have an incentive to really pour money in and try to get in on that first new competitive legislature and try to build a majority from there.
For advocates, this is an exciting proposition to return to politics of a decade ago that had a much more collaborative spirit.
The legislators really were responsive to their constituents, went to, or came, I guess we're in Madison, came to Madison to do the people's work, not the party's work. And I think that's the difference that we've seen.
Will Keneally reporting there. We reached out to the state Republican Party for the story as well, but they did not immediately get back to us. As for the timeline for all of this, politicians will start circulating nomination papers for those new districts this April, and we'll see the primaries for those competitive seats take place in August.